Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we delve deep into the dystopian universe of futuristic law enforcement, focusing on a subject as iconic as it is deadly, the notorious Berserker rage of Robocop. Now, Robocop needs no introduction. He is a legendary amalgamation of man and machine, a relentless enforcer combating crime at all costs. He embodies the symbol of justice. However, it is important to remember that Robocop isn't always all that put together, just like the rest of us. He has instances where his composure tends to falter, and that too big time. In this video, we will unravel some of the most jaw-dropping incidents where Robocop goes full Berserker mode. We're talking about gunfire galore, endless destruction, and a complete disregard for the rulebook. We'll take a closer look at those moments that had us all wide-eyed and wondering if our favorite metal hero had gone off the deep end. So, buckle up, because it's about to get wild in the world of Robocop. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Rescue an innocent girl. We all remember the very first iconic Robocop film from '87, right? The one where they threw violence around like it was confetti at a party. Paul Verhoeven's Robocop was pure insanity, and the censors had a field day with it. They thought it was too much, so they chopped and changed a bunch of scenes just to keep it in theaters. But you know, it's those super intense moments that we all secretly love. Like this scene in particular, when Robocop's cruising around on his first night on the job. He gets a call about some goons messing with a poor woman. They're literally trying to cut her hair and harass her. It's horrifying. So Robocop rolls up, all metallic and menacing. One of the criminals threatens to slit the woman's throat, and that's when Robocop goes full-on action hero. He whips out his gun and takes the craziest shot right between the lady's legs, nailing the bad guy where it hurts most. The bad guy drops to the ground, screaming his lungs out. Then this grateful lady rushes to Robocop, giving him a huge hug, and all he does in return is offer to call a crisis center for her in his usual robotic tone. You have to admit that this scene was something else, and it's still etched in our memories. Shootout at drug factory. Alright folks, we've got a classic showdown in Robocop. So, Clarence J. Boddicker, our bad guy, is trying to make a deal at a rival's cocaine factory, but things are heating up. Sal, the competitor, isn't impressed by Clarence and his gang. In his defense, the guy's got a rap sheet of cop killing. Anyway, Sal straight up declines the offer, but Clarence, never one to back down, starts talking smack to Sal. It's a tense standoff, and everyone's got their guns out. Just when it's about to get really ugly, the factory door goes kaboom, and our metal hero, Robocop, walks in. He's not messing around when he orders everyone to surrender, but of course, no one listens, and bullets start flying. Robocop goes full-on action mode, taking out most of the gangsters like a boss. He eventually gets his metallic mitts on Clarence, and it's a brutal beatdown. He throws them through plate glass windows like they're made of paper. He's about to break Clarence's neck when the gangster's bravado crumbles, and he starts begging for his life. But here's the kicker. Robocop remembers just in time that he's a cop, not a vigilante. He can't just kill Clarence in the heat of the moment, so he's now got a moral dilemma on his hands. Toxic waste encounter. So obviously, we know that Clarence isn't giving up that easily. He rounds up his gang of baddies, and they're packing some serious firepower. We're talking big, bad 50 caliber rifles. They're on a mission to take down Robocop once and for all. They track our metal hero to an old, creepy steel mill, where he's lying low, but one by one, these goons meet their doom. Joe Cox? He's out of the game almost as soon as it starts. Robocop locks onto him, and bam, he's done for. Then there's Emil Antonowski. He takes a wild ride, driving his truck straight into a massive tank filled with toxic sludge. That stuff melts him down like an ice cream cone on a hot day. But his misery doesn't end there. Clarence accidentally finishes him off by crashing into him while driving his car. It's like a bad day at the office for these guys, and Robocop's showing them who's boss. But hey, it's all part of the action-packed thrill of this classic flick. Robocop's deadly gunfire on the main villain. It's now time for the grand finale at OCP, and Robocop's coming in hot. He's got this massive rifle swiped from Clarence's gang, and he's not here to play nice. First things first, he takes out the terrifying Ed 209, guarding the entrance, wishing the oversized robot menace a final goodbye. Then he waltzes into a high-stakes OCP board meeting, calling out Dick Jones for murder. Robocop lays down the law, saying he can't arrest OCP big shots because he's bound by Directive 4. Jones claims that the bot is psychopathic, but Robocop's got a surprise up his metallic sleeve. He whips his data spike out into the action and starts playing a video of Jones admitting to killing Morton. Jones panics, grabs a gun, and takes the old man, who is the head of OCP, hostage, demanding a helicopter for a quick getaway. But the old man's had enough, and he boots Jones out of OCP, rendering Directive 4 null and void. Robocop seizes the moment and unloads on Jones, who goes out the window, screaming all the way down. Finally, in a moment of gratitude, the old man asks Robocop for his name, and after a dramatic pause, Robocop delivers the ultimate mic drop, Murphy. Boom! It's game over for the bad guys, and Robocop's now got his identity back. Rampage of Robocop. In the 2014 Robocop flick, things get intense when Murphy tracks down Antoine Valin's shady warehouse. But here's the twist. Someone snitches to Valin that Robocop's on his way, and it's time to rally the troops. Valin's crew aren't taking any chances though. They crank the tension up to 11 by flicking off the lights and strapping on these fancy night vision goggles. They figure this will give them a fighting edge against our metal hero. Intimidating as ever, Murphy barrels in on his motorcycle and tears down the doors in style. And then it's an all-out shootout. Bullets are flying, and Murphy's suit gets shot up in the chaos, and his visor takes a beating. But our half-man, half-machine Murphy's not one to mess with. He takes out every last one of Valin's goons. Finally, it's showdown time with Valin himself, which doesn't last long because the villain is swiftly defeated by our badass hero. That's how you make an entrance, right? It's all part of the action-packed roller coaster ride that is Robocop. Final destination of Robo-Kane. Here's the scoop on the epic showdown in Robocop 2, the follow-up to the '87 Robocop. The bigwig old man throws this massive public meeting to introduce Robocop 2, also known as Robo-Kane, the new crime-fighting machine. But guess who crashed the party? None other than our original Robocop, Murphy himself. Kane, the bad guy, grabs the remote to activate his defense systems, and all hell breaks loose. He starts spraying bullets like there's no tomorrow, taking out some innocent folks in the crowd. Total chaos. Murphy steps up, and it's an all-out brawl between him and Kane. They're going at it, and the fight spills out onto the streets. It's like a heavyweight battle of the bots. Things are looking bleak, and the cops outside can't do a darn thing to stop Kane. So, Murphy gets a genius idea. He hands over a canister of nuke, the drug Kane's hooked on. That gets Kane all sorts of distracted. With his guard down, Robocop seizes the moment, leaps onto Kane's back, blasts through his armor, snatches out the brain from the robot's system, and smashes it to the ground. And that's the end of Kane's rampage, folks. Murphy for the win. Robocop destroys a robot ninja's head with deadly gunfire. Now, let's talk about a scene from Robocop 3, the grand finale of the original Robocop series. So, Robocop's on a mission, right? He shows up at the rebel base. But guess what? It's like a ghost town. Nobody's home. Out of the blue, this ninja android called Otomo shows up and starts trying to viciously attack our metal hero. This ninja bot was cooked up by the big shot CEO of Kanemitsu, and he's one tough cookie. During the epic battle, things get pretty bad for Robocop. He's losing power, and his left arm and his auto gun take a beating. It's looking pretty dire, but we all know Murphy isn't one to give up. In the end, he manages to turn the tables. Thanks to his trusty arm-mounted gun, he blasts off Otomo's head, and the ninja android is left in a pile of scorched and dismantled parts. That's how you wrap up the Robocop saga, folks. Robocop destroys Ed 209. It's time to dive into this iconic scene in Robocop. So, our metal hero brings in Clarence Boddicker and is all set to book him for killing cops. But hold the phone, because Dick Jones, the oh-so-important official from OCP, works his magic and gets Clarence out on bail. Robocop isn't one to be stopped, though. He storms into Jones's office like a boss, while playing the incriminating video recording where Clarence spills the beans about his link to Jones. Robocop tries to slap the cuffs on Jones, but here's the twist. His systems start acting up because he's attempting to violate Directive 4. And guess who's the brainiac behind that directive? Yeah, you got it right, Dick Jones himself. Jones calls in the big baddie, Ed 209, to take down Robocop. What follows is an epic no-holds-barred battle where it seems like both robots will be the death of each other. Robocop gets seriously messed up, but he's not giving in. He pulls a slick move, dashing down a flight of stairs. And here's the kicker. Ed 209, with those massive feet, can't handle stairs. We then watch as the giant robot throws a tantrum while Robocop makes his escape. Totally unexpected, right? Final showdown of Robocop with Ed 209 drones. Alright folks, let's talk about Murphy's gutsy move in this one wild scene from the reboot. He's on a mission to save his family, so he rides his motorcycle like a boss right up to Omnicorp headquarters. Outside, he's not messing around. He tasers a guard and makes the others back off. Then, In his usual epic fashion, he flips his bike into the building, which makes two Ed 209 droids take notice of him. They start blasting at Murphy, but he's got some tricks up his sleeve. He gets those robots to shoot at each other, causing chaos. One of them even takes a nosedive from a great height, and poor Alex's left arm gets caught underneath it. Things go from bad to worse as more droids show up. Murphy has to make a tough call, so he grabs a submachine gun and shoots off his left arm. Yep, you heard right. The droids aren't messing around either, and they try to bring Murphy down again. But just when things look bleak, Officer Ann Lewis swoops in with reinforcements, standing between the droids and Murphy. This gives Alex a chance to sprint up to the rooftop and rescue his family. Fired a gunshot towards a man's skull. So, Murphy's on a mission to bust the nuke operation, right? He breaks into the place and stumbles upon a full-on nuke production lab. And who does he see there? The maniacal leader himself, Kane, is right in the middle of it all. Murphy doesn't waste a second and takes out a bunch of the guards. But Kane, being the slippery character he is, manages to run away. That guy's like a snake. But here's where things get crazy. Kane's little sidekick, a teenager named Hobb, takes a shot at Murphy, knowing full well that Robocop can't shoot a kid. That messes with Murphy's head and memories, throwing a wrench into his original mission. But then, just when you think all hope is lost, he hears a baby crying. Turns out, it's the kid of one of the lab workers. Murphy springs into action, firing a well-aimed shot right into the skull of the guy who's holding the baby hostage, and reunites the little one with his overjoyed mom. It's moments like these that remind us there's still some humanity left in the machine, folks. Marvelous verdict. So, there you have it, guys. Robocop's Berserker moments. A wild ride through some of the craziest scenes in the franchise. It's pretty insane how our half-human, half-machine hero can go from 0 to 100 when he's had enough. From taking on drugged-up baddies to fighting off ninja androids. Robocop's done it all. It's these intense moments that make us love the guy even more. These moments remind us that beneath all the steel and circuits, there's still a bit of humanity in there. Thanks for joining us on this thrilling journey through the world of this iconic cybernetic lawman. And stay tuned for more action-packed adventures. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.